You're in fucking Plague House.
Oh, I can't do Jake's old person voice because I already sound like I'm dying.
Old.
Welcome to A Star to Steer By. Hello and welcome. Would you like a cough drop? I have Werther's and I have Dum Dum lollipops.
Ooh. Do you have any ribbon candy? Because I
Oh
feel
my
like
God.
only old people ever have fucking ribbon candy.
What about that, like,
super
pink,
pretty.
those pink hard candies that are kind of shaped like a pillow and they're filled with peanut butter?
Oh, those
Those
things,
are nice.
yeah.
What about and soft mints? I feel like they probably have soft mints. You know,
Oh,
I like those
chalky
though.
ones?
I like a soft
Yeah,
mint though.
that's a good mint.
Yeah, and bridge mix, right? Isn't that a thing?
Speaking of the bridge, we're on episodes of the Next Generation for Star Trek.
Whoa.
I'm Grandma Ames.
I'm Nana Caitlin.
What? This is Jake! And with Great Uncle Chris.
Get off my lawn! We are talking about TNG episode Unnatural Selection, so unnatural, and A Matter of Honor, so matter of fact.
Yes.
In Unnatural Selection, we're tooling around in space, doing the thing.
Yeah.
We come across the USS Lantry, and we can't figure out what the hell their distress signal is saying because they're so fucking old. Old people cannot operate the controls of the bridge.
I have bingo already!
How does this microwave contraption work? There's so many buttons.
The VCR is just flashing 12!
I'm kind of enjoying the idea that, like, the fast aging process also made them forget what they already knew. Because, like, old people just don't understand microwaves because they didn't have microwaves when they were not old. But these people already knew how to, fly spaceships when they were young. So I like the idea that, like, the aging process has made it such that, like, using a remote control for a television would be, like, beyond them, even though...
Yeah.
Look here, Sonny. In my day, we could make warp 8.8, and that was good enough for us.
Wow.
Well, it's not good enough for these people because they dead. Sorry, USS Lantry Crew, but they all died of old age. How did that happen? Apparently one of them was Riker's age.
That yeoman's been stealing my jello.
Oh. Dr. Pulaski remotely scans them somehow and says, yeah, something weird happened. But they just visited the Darwin Genetic Research Station on Gagarin 4. Maybe they'll know what's going on. They go down there, and Dr. Sarah Kingsley answers the phone and says, we're all really old down here.
I just turned 32.
My dentures aren't staying in. And they're like, interesting. The same thing happened to the Lantry folks. But, they dead. Dr. Kingsley says, can you save our children? They're genetic experiments. They're 12 years old. But we promise they're not infected. Everyone is like, no, you're probably very, very wrong. Except Pulaski, who really, really wants these kids on board. Maybe it's just to watch Picard squirm. We'll find out. Finally, after much debate, they decide, okay, how about we bring them up wrapped in saran wrap?
Pulaski is a master debater. Also, if she wanted to make Picard squirm, she'd just put a finger up his butt. Don't worry about it.
That's part of his weekly checkup.
You want to know how they got a sample of her DNA.
While I was watching it, I said, get her dildo! Get her dildo!
I
We're jumping ahead.
Picard should
We're
scrape some
jumping
off the
ahead.
tip of his penis.
Stop doing the jumping ahead.
Or his nose.
Oh, yeah.
I bet he goes to
He knows how to please the
downtown
ladies.
to Flavortown, for sure.
Please continue.
I'm trying to continue. They keep talking. I thought they'd be subdued today, but they're not.
Guy Fieri definitely goes downtown.
No one would let him.
I would, at least then he wouldn't talk.
Okay, that's...
I'm here for diners. Shut the fuck up and eat my pussy, Fieri. Holy God.
Holy God.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, he's going for a second bite. That's how you know Fieri likes it. If he goes for a second fork,
This is Flavortown.
Bro, if you do not fucking leave this in, I'll be so mad at you.
Not leaving. I am isolating that and emailing it to Guy Fieri.
Yes!
He's our biggest fan.
We're
Dude,
fans. We love Guy.
If Guy Fieri would like to eat my pussy, all I can say is yes. Who am I to say no to Guy Fieri?
Will you still let him if he insists on putting donkey sauce on it first?
What's donkey
I don't
sauce?
know what donkey sauce is.
No one does. It's whatever he
But
picked
it
up out of his
sounds
microwave.
like a yeast infection waiting to happen.
Anyway, go on, Ames.
I'm going on.
Barbecue sauce.
No.
Weren't you not feeling well, like, literally 3 minutes
This
ago?
is how we're getting the energy up, man.
listen,
This has revitalized
I told
her.
Jake I'd be fine. I meant it. I'm using every fucking energy store I have right now.
All right, so by the end of the episode,
I'll be
Kate
dead
will
by
be-
the end of this show. Yeah.
She'll be 98 years old, much like Pulaski. Okay, so we beam a kid aboard. He does not look 12. He looks
No.
like he's like 30. And everyone's all like, huh, this is weird. But Pulaski realizes, no, it's just because he's genetically advanced. And everyone's like, it's still fucking weird. She says, can I take him out of his wrapper? And like, no. No.
Can I take him
Pulaski, what is wrong with you?
He's mint condition right now, Pulaski. The fuck is wrong with you?
She's
Why
not
don't
to
you
touch
fucking
him.
care about the... Yeah, no shit. That's a little...
Yeah, I made that joke when they were on the shuttlecraft. I was like, oh, yeah, you ruined it. Now the value's gone down in half.
So they agree, okay, you can open up his wrapper and touch him all you like if you bring him on a shuttlecraft because, it'll be in
international space and nothing's illegal in international
well,
space.
there's that. It's also an enclosed environment so that none of the germs could get out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
take data, because germs don't count on data unless you're naked now. Who knows?
Take data, please.
Aw. She was actually nice to Data this week, which was fine. So
Yeah,
she
for
opens it
fucking
up,
once.
and realizes, okay, oh, whoops, now I've got the old age happening disease.
Old AIDS.
I thought you were going to say AIDS. I was like, Jesus Christ.
And realizes, well, I can't go back to the Enterprise. The kid can't go to the Enterprise. We're both going down to the quarantined Gagarin 4 station. And I guess we're just going to die of old age out here. Whatever. Until our new hero, Chief Transporter O'Brien.
Who has a
Huzzah!
name.
Yeah, finally.
Hey.
Most of a name. He doesn't have his first name yet, but he's getting there. He had so many lines and ideas,
He
and no one ever thanked him.
He even got to sit in the meeting.
He did.
Yeah.
And I also have that note, but we'll get to that.
He says, what if we just use their old records from going through the transporter? And they say, oh, but Pulaski is basically a rebooted Bones, therefore she doesn't have any records of that because she hated the transporter. So let's just use this hair from her hairbrush, run that through the transporter, and then beam her up. They do, after lots of blathering about things for a while. She comes up, she's euthanized. No.
Guys, listen,
Youthicized?
it's something that we've tried to get people on board for in this country, and I hope that by the 24th century we will have death with dignity.
Did we ever talk about that in an episode? That'll be interesting.
Death
Anyway.
panels.
Yeah.
If we would have, it
Thanks,
theoretically
Obama.
should have been during Star Trek V, because there's that moment where he euthanizes his father. McCoy does.
Oh, that's true.
But because it was Star Trek V, we probably didn't. We were too
mean,
busy going, what the fuck is happening?
Well, and also McCoy's just a bad doctor, so that probably wasn't what he meant to do.
He's a fine fucking doctor.
Shit, I wanted to take your temperature. Dad!
There are a few times when we have death with dignity addressed.
We'll
in
get to
Star
that. Meanwhile, everyone's saved. End of Unnatural Selection. No one will ever touch these children again.
Good.
Sorry, children. They were telepathic, too. And Troy got to have a line. In a matter of honor, it's exchange program week.
It's Take Your Human to Work Day!
But first, we have to meet our new Benzite friend, Benzite Ensign Mendon, who looks just like Mordock, for reasons I'll get to.
Because they're in the same geopod, or whatever the fuck he said.
Yeah.
GeoCities
Obviously. They
site.
both grew off the same
From the same
stem.
GeoCities site.
Exactly. Yeah, so they decide, whilst in the middle of a
Phaser battle.
phaser target game.
Some kind of range. Phaser range. Is that what they called it?
Looked like a VR game.
Which I've mentioned before why they did that.
They decide, okay, well, if we've got, exchange officers on our ship, we don't know much about the Klingons. How about Riker goes and stays on a Klingon ship for a while? We can learn some things. They could learn about us. We could all be better friends. Let's do it. They beam Riker over to the Pach. That's not how you say it.
Gesundheit.
Pach. We've all been sick. Captained by Kargan and his second officer, Clag. And Riker starts getting along pretty nicely with them. He eats their snacks. He hits on their women. It's all great. They love it. Until they realize, there's this weird parasitic shit on the outside of our ship that seems to be eating away at the exterior. Clearly this is the Enterprise's doing. Let's attack the Enterprise. And Riker says, no, Captain. I know, I'm supposed to be your subordinate right now, but I think that's a bad idea. And they're like, no, it's fine. The Enterprise, meanwhile, has also figured out that they too have this weird parasitic thing on their hull because Mendon saw it and is figuring it out. Meanwhile, he's being a dick about it because he didn't want to bring it up in the first place until he figured out how to fix it. And they say, no, you should let everyone know when there's a thing that's wrong because otherwise you'll kill us all. But thanks, Mendon. Mendon eventually finds a way to fix it. They try to relay this information to the Klingon ship, but they're like, nope, they clearly have something up their sleeve. They're clearly bent on evil. Let's go cloak. And then when the Enterprise gets there, they say, uh-oh, something's afoot. They're not responding to this hail with the answer to how to get rid of the parasite, and they're cloaked, and they've got Riker. What do? Riker, meanwhile, clicks on his little emergency access button to send a message to Worf being like, hey, can I get transported back over there? But then hands it off to Kargan. Kargan gets himself transported to the bridge of the Enterprise and is like, fuck. Riker takes control of the PA and has Picard surrender to him against the honor of Kargan, of course, because now he's on a ship that... He's no longer captain of the ship that did this or whatever the fuck. They realize, I guess we're all friends actually, and it's okay. And they beam Kargan back, and Riker gets punched in the face, and then goes back to the Enterprise.
Hard, too.
And they're like, well, that happened. Bye. That was a long-winded explanation. I apologize.
No, that's all right.
Long-winded episode.
We should record the explanations at the end.
No, because then we'll be tired and full and laughing about whatever stupid joke you previously made.
From that explanation.
Well,
Jake,
don't worry.
really
You're about
shitty.
as tired as all these people who are aging rapidly in Unnatural Selection.
Doesn't this just keep happening?
This happens a lot.
Who the fuck cares? We saw this in the animated series.
The makeup is never great.
Yeah,
better this time. This age makeup was even better than Jameson, I think.
Well, that's because they were actually aging up an older woman.
Yeah, she's not that old.
And Sarah Kingsley was actually an older woman.
What?
Also,
I thought she had her 35th birthday.
I'm pretty also sure that my asshole looks better than Jameson did.
Oof.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I going into this, I was like, I kind of vaguely recall there's like an aging disease. Is this just a rehash of the Deadly Years? And it wasn't, which was good.
Which one was the Deadly Years?
The one from the original series. They all started getting old, except Chekhov because he had like shit his pants.
Didn't that also happen in TAS?
There was some sort of time.
Lorelei signal.
That's right. Yeah.
They went to the planet of the
Everyone's trying to get
So-
younger in a different TAS episode.
And they
Yeah,
used
I
the
remember
transporter in that as well to fix
Yep.
them.
I know, I was like, because I feel like they actually, like, protest. Oh, that would be highly irregular. And I'm like, we fucking did it last week, guys. What are you talking about, be highly fucking irregular? You've done it in this series. Like,
Yeah, but they've never done it from, like,
A strand of hair.
a strand of hair. They always have, like, the backup.
I don't know. I think they were still saying, like, I don't know, this may not work. This is, untested theory when they're talking about using just their transporting
no,
My
records.
guess,
tested.
here's my
Maybe
theory
O'Brien
on
just
this.
didn't know what he was doing.
No, here's my hypothesis, that Starfleet knows that the transporter is a fucking nightmare. And that it can do all kinds of crazy, unnatural shit. And it
It's
can duplicate
witchcraft.
people, it can de-age people, it can cure people, it can give people diseases, it can merge
Turn
people
them
into
inside
new
out.
people. It can do all kinds of crazy,
Exploded.
unethical shit very easily. But they have put into their training for transporter operators, pretend like none of this actually can happen. Just act like totally normal. Act like, oh no, that's a rate. We could try it, but
I do like the idea that all transporter operators are just part of this whole secretive layer of society.
Well,
they're
you know.
Section 32.
That's what I even said.
like that time we faked the moon landing.
Exactly.
The Earth is flat.
But
How does that work for space travel?
yeah, no, they finally one day
Very carefully.
someone who isn't a transporter operator walks in when they're in the middle of repairing it, and they see that in reality it's just powered by a portal to hell.
Oh, I was going to say a hamster and a wheel.
In the portal to hell. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a little devil hamster. It's got little horns.
Aww.
Like squeak, 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 and
Devil
it's red.
tail.
Choo, choo. Yeah, this episode.
I mean, they did something with Pulaski for a change.
Yeah, it was a good Pulaski-centric episode.
Okay, it was. But here's the thing, okay? Here's what I didn't like about it. So far, this is episode 7 of the season. So it's Pulaski's 7th episode. Exactly.
She's I think not been in 1 or 2 of them already.
So her 7th episode at a maximum.
Yeah.
And
we've had 7 episodes where she has existed.
And in one episode, she was getting stuffed with crumpets, which is probably the most pleasant feeling I've had about her the entire series.
Unless it's by Guy
thinking
Fieri.
about her getting her...
Guy Fieri.
What about Guy Fieri?
You don't want Guy Fieri doing the shoving of crumpets.
Yeah, because they'd be like covered in bacon.
Hot sauce.
That sounds amazing, actually.
Wrapped
Guy
in
Fieri.
steak.
Guy, call me. Could fucking put donkey sauce on it. So this is what I was trying to say. It's her 7th episode wherein she has existed, and possibly only 5th that she's actually, appeared. And she's got this big, heroic sacrifice moment where I don't feel like she earned it, and I don't actually give a fuck. And I'm like...
She mostly got there because she was being a stubborn bitch.
Well, I mean, I understood why she wanted to try it. I totally got that, and I appreciate that she did what she did. But I just felt like I was watching it and I was like, holy shit, are they actually just going to kill her now? I was like, are they giving up on this character this early? I was like, you just told me just now that she doesn't like transporters, so you're trying again to kind of shoehorn a little more bones in there, which, I really wanted to like that. I wanted her to earn her bones. So I would be like, yeah, I fucking love Pulaski.
She does have that arthritis.
I was in it for her to fucking be my ride or die bitch. I was ready. And then... Again, this episode, you said, she's nice to Data for fucking once, but, the majority of her character so far has been being really weirdly okay with weird space rape babies, fucking being a douchebag to Data, probably having sex with Moriarty.
I don't falter that.
And being a dick to Picard all the time? Sort of. I don't falter that either. He was alright looking. I'd hit it. Guy Fieri first, mind. Moriarty's gonna Moriarty's gonna get some sloppy seconds. He's gonna have the remnants of the donkey sauce.
Yeah, it's flavored already. Oh no.
Yum. Anyway.
I think the writers probably felt the same way about the character, and that's why they threw in a totally weird and unnecessary scene at the beginning.
When Kingsley recognizes her, or
no, where Picard and Troy have an awkward conversation about.
Who would talk to Troy?
Like, hey Troy, do you think Pulaski's a good doctor? Yeah. Do you think she'd do anything for her patients? Yeah. All right. Nice talk. See ya.
Yeah.
That's your weekly chat with Troy. You have to schedule it in and talk about something.
But why was that scene in the episode? Only to set up that she's a dedicated physician that cares about her job and
because we really haven't had much evidence to that before now.
I don't know. She was, again, really okay with fucking weird space baby. She didn't want the security team getting all up in space baby's business. Who was it that revealed that, Pulaski had a huge, boner for Picard?
Her old captain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So couldn't we have just
find her DNA?
Couldn't we have just skipped the Troy scene then? Because then we have this reference to her character of being so excited to work with the illustrious Picard.
Plus, the captain seemed to sort of also reiterate that whole she's a great doctor thing. I would have given her a shuttle if it would have made her stay, and all that. So
Kingston's like, wait a minute, didn't you read this book that only I've read? You're my hero.
Yeah, everyone on the bridge just kind of looks at her like, you wrote a book? And she's like, yeah.
No one likes books.
I feel like even she's kind of like, oh, that's that terrible thesis I wrote when I was 20.
Yeah, but no one's disproved it yet, It's like, Pulaski, why haven't you written another Catch-22? Why hasn't anybody? Still the fucking standard. I don't know. I just and there was all this fucking tell don't show shit happening in this episode. Oh yeah, she wrote this book. Oh yeah, she's a great doctor. Oh yeah, she's so dedicated. She always talks to me really nicely when she does my pap smears.
Meanwhile, let's unwrap this child and do whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I felt like they were building up this whole dramatic thing, and then at the end when she's transporting back, oh, it doesn't look like it's working. I was just like, who fucking cares? I literally don't care if she collapses in a heap of fucking bones when she teleports back on. I really don't care. I just think that this episode was should have been 10 episodes later when maybe she's done something to actually be an interesting character that I give a shit about. But so far, nothing. And I care even less about her after this episode because she was just being a dickhead. And
she's making poor decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think... I don't quite buy that there's no way that they could have figured out that those children... Like, first of all, it stretches credulity to say that, oh, we suddenly have this advanced aging disease, and it couldn't possibly have anything to do with the children that we have deliberately aged.
Yeah, and
like
nobody
makes that connection.
The people in the fucking station don't even tell the Enterprise, by the way, it's a 12-year-old, but it's not going to look like a 12-year-old, so don't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the deal with these quote-unquote children, so that you know.
This is it's like the station was run by Vulcans. Like, we're not going to give you all the information that's important.
But Vulcans as they age, it takes slower, so they wouldn't have been as effective.
That's true.
You have to beam these children on board your ship to the death.
Also, I get that, this will be a retcon that comes later. I forget when exactly, but, it eventually becomes status quo that because everyone's still several centuries later freaked out about the eugenics wars, most types, if not all types of genetic engineering are a giant fucking no-no in the Federation.
Mm.
So this whole episode just wouldn't work after the retcon.
Well, are they necessary? Did they ever say necessarily that the people on that it's a Federation lab?
No, I suppose not.
I mean, it could just be that the Federation outlaws it.
If it's a Federation planet, though, don't
is
they
it?
have
we don't know that.
The USS Lantry went there.
Oh yeah, it was specifically
why
a
are they
Federation
there?
supply vessel.
Yeah, but they might have just bought some supplies from the
That's
Federation,
fair.
or the
They wanted to
Federation
bang those
is
children.
outsourcing their dirty work. They're like, well, shit, we have laws against genetic engineering, but
we really like it.
The Darwin people, they have no such
But my point
rule.
is that isn't even the rule yet anyway. But I still feel like even with that not having been established, everyone was way too chill.
Oh yeah.
About everything happening there.
Pulaski was like, oh my god, this child could be like the next step in our futures. And you're like, you don't know anything about him yet, Pulaski. What are you doing?
At no point did Picard say, okay, hold the fuck on. Calls back up Darwin, beep boop beep. Like, what the fuck? We are not doing another fucking thing until we get some real answers, you insane bitch.
Wow.
I also feel like that another thing the writers did, they were really trying to scrimp and save this season.
Yeah.
And I think another thing they did was deliberately made the children telepathic, so they wouldn't have to pay the actor as much.
Oh, they cut a scene where he was supposed to have lines.
Oh.
And a name. His name would have been David if we ever learned his name.
Oh.
The super child. But that got cut. They were also, in a way that would have actually saved a bunch of money as well, they were supposed to have been nude. But then when the furniture was clear, they realized, oh, this can't work.
We can't do it.
So
I don't care what you say.
We
simply
see
can't.
tiny baby balls.
Oh, baby balls. Oh no!
Yeah, there's some weird shit in this episode. Yeah, it didn't make sense to me why the children were telepathic, why that was remotely important.
Gave Troy a line.
Yeah, it did give Troy a line.
So Data could look at Pulaski like he had no fucking idea what the fuck she was on about. That was some great acting from my man Brent.
Your man Brent.
Does anyone else think that the what was it called? The Captain's Subspace Priority channel is just regularly abused and is basically just Federation party chat.
I told you not to call this screen.
Exactly.
Like, you just go on and Jellicoe's on there trying to get the ladies to come on down and I don't know, something Jeffrey's tube. I got nothing.
Crusher, what are you wearing, darling? My really good, I almost said James Stewart impression, which is also incorrect. What the fuck is happening?
Sean Connery.
Yeah, no, but it's not Sean Connery. It's Patrick Stewart I'm doing, Ames. It's a Patrick Stewart impression, you understand.
Get in line after Moriarty and Guy Fieri. I had one other note.
Yes.
And that was in the original script. There was supposed to be a hottie named Rena who was LaForge's assistant or something, and they had a romantic subplot.
Ew.
But they didn't use that character and replaced her with O'Brien.
Nice.
Oh.
Who actually, as you said during the introduction, one of my last notes on the episode. No, not my last note on the episode. Oh yeah, no one thanked me, only my idea and all.
Yeah.
O'Brien.
Let's go back to me quarters and halves of potatoes.
He's there with the all, she's embracing
Taters.
people saying hello. You know, not one person going, "Well done, Chief." She's like, "Yeah, okay."
Well, to be
you
fair,
fucking wasp.
he's not the one that originally who would have been responsible if it didn't work, because Picard said, no.
That's true, yeah.
If senior staff is going to get killed, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah, exactly. So O'Brien abdicated responsibility, yet he should still get the credit.
Yes!
I don't know about that.
He had responsibility taken from him.
Listen. He was like, Captain. He did everything.
He was begging for it.
Yeah, he was doing a little. Yeah,
I will not hear O'Brien badmouth.
Well,
Oh, and block your ears.
Well, then don't watch anything Kiko says. Keiko.
I don't understand, right?
What if Pulaski just happened to have arthritis?
Yeah, it just
Why
flared
did she
up
seem
right
like
then.
she just got fucking
Shot?
shot by the arthritis?
Yeah, that was my
Ooh!
my note.
figured-
The arthritis!
Drama queen much, Doc?
It got me.
I know.
And lo, I die.
I mean, I know people with arthritis, and by all accounts, it sucks like a motherfucker. But yeah, it is not, I just got shot by pain!
But maybe like if you don't have it and then you suddenly have it really bad.
It was
maybe,
Well, here's the
rapid
other thing, though, right?
onset arthritis.
Here's the other problem, though, is arthritis, my understanding, is usually in the joints. She grabbed the middle of her, arm,
Well,
where
she
there's
also
no
didn't say
joint.
arthritis, did arthritic inflammation.
Oh, okay.
So,
And I was actually also thinking, if it was RA, that could have hurt like a prick. Rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the shit you don't want to get.
That's the one they advertise on TV.
Yeah, they do. But
2 for 1
don't
sale.
buy it.
Yeah.
For the next 10 minutes, you get a free blender.
So this was kind of a stupid episode, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it was
I
very
knew
good.
something was up when Pulaski was talking to the computer and suddenly asked, "Is she talking to me?" Get it? Because the computer talks.
Oh.
Actually, I want to point out some bullshit with this episode. I'm gonna do a little science bomb on drop a deuce on this one. Yeah. In past episodes, when we've reverted people to their original states using the transporter, we took an old pattern, a backup. So basically, the premise,
Trace, they called it, didn't
a trace,
they?
exactly. So the transporter essentially saves a backup of you
It's basically like
when you beam.
it's a ghost from a time trial. in a
Yeah.
video game.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that we can always restore from backup. Great. If you accept that, which is stupid, but if you accept that, then it makes sense.
Shouldn't they not remember anything that happened after they beamed, though? If they
Well, I think
reverting?
because the explanation was that they merge the two patterns, so you fix my guess is that the trace is not enough to duplicate you. It's enough to know what you are, but not like
Otherwise,
a
they would
full
just
copy.
fill the ship with datas.
Yeah.
But that's next week.
that sounds perfect. How do
So
we get
in this
that?
case,
Wait,
I'm
next
saying
week.
that so the original plan was, we'll get the trace and then we'll merge old Pulaski with the trace of young Pulaski and create young Pulaski with old Pulaski's brain
But what about Uno and
And
Dos?
hair.
and hair. So that kind of makes sense. But here's the thing: they weren't able to do it. They weren't able to get the trace. They got a hair sample with DNA. Now, as far as I know, your DNA doesn't change as you age, right? You have, you have, it does in a way, but that's not the point. The point is your DNA is your DNA. And the only difference between the DNA on the hairbrush and the DNA in old Pulaski is the DNA in old Pulaski had been modified slightly by the virus that triggered the aging.
Right.
So they could beam her back and restore all of her DNA back to the original, but why would that de-age her? That doesn't make any sense.
Also, when was the last time she used that hairbrush?
She should have been beamed up. She should have been beamed up and been cured, but still have been old. There's no reason why she would have been de-aged by just being beamed up, because it wasn't that she wasn't old because her DNA got messed up.
Haven't you seen that episode of Futurama where the professor gets a bunch of stem cells and wipes it all over his face and becomes
yes,
young?
obviously.
Well, that's how it works, Jake.
I see.
That's how
I'm
science
just saying
works.
that there was a lack of internal consistency with how that procedure was supposed to go.
Speaking of that procedure, because I had this thought.
The
Pulaski
stem cell
apparently
Futurama procedure?
No, not that. Pulaski apparently keeps her hairbrush in
In
a
her
drawer
underwear
with some
drawer.
clothes, right? So are we certain that's even a hair from her head?
Wow.
They beam it back up, and it's just Picard's balls on the
Oh,
transporter pad.
but with Pulaski's mind.
And Picard's like, oh, you use that hairbrush.
Oh no!
Excuse you, who the hell those here leaves their hairbrush in with clothing?
Someone who has, like, very little storage room because they live on a fucking spaceship.
She had a counter that was empty. She could have had it sitting there.
Maybe she didn't want to leave it
Listen,
out on the counter.
Do you know how often there's some kind of jostling about going on because Klingons are nearby or something?
Also, I'm pretty sure that hairbrush is from after she became old, because you see that thing? That was an old lady hairbrush.
Yeah, it was.
That was not a hot young woman like Pulaski.
Pulaski's
hairbrush.
already like 50 or 60.
I'm pretty sure she's like 35. I made a joke when she first beamed out of the planet and she hadn't been aged up, that like the other woman on the planet was going to be like, oh my god, you're infected too.
No!
That would have been funny. Pulaski would have made a sour bitch face. And it would be great.
Yeah, and then insulted Data, just because
Yeah.
that's comes naturally to him.
Data!
Data!
That reminds me.
Data?
Yes, there's a point in the
That is not his
episode
name.
where Diana Muldaur has to say the word Data, not his name. And it turns out Diana Muldaur actually says Data.
What a bitch.
So-
She did it on purpose.
So she was specifically doing it to piss him off.
Well, no, I think it's just Diana Muldaur actually says Data, but they had to tell her to say Data that one time. But then when she talks like a normal person later, it's like, oh yeah,
I know, but we're trying to make it fit into her character, and we're
I
suggesting
know,
that
I
even
know.
though her character says Data, she said Data to be a bitch.
I've often wondered that because I'm too young to really know how people talked before Star Trek The Next Generation. But I kind of wonder how people pronounced that word. Because the correct pronunciation is data.
I have heard it theorized that more people say Data now than used to because of that show,
I'm
but no one's been
sure.
able to prove it.
But if there was like, if you had a recording of a statistician from 1985,
Right.
what would he have said?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
We've been
I do
rerunning
know.
the data.
Actually, a statistician would probably still say data today because they're...
I don't know. A statistician would probably be a pretty big Star Trek fan.
Yeah, but then again, I feel like if you spend 20 years in statistician school, you're going to say it right.
Who the
Is
fuck would
the-
spend that many years? It's probably like 4 years plus like a 1-year master's plus like a couple years in your PhD, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, but then you become
who's
a
spending
professor.
20 years in statistics school?
Listen,
Well, again,
some
you
of
stay
us
and
are just
teach
not
as a
as
professor.
fast at learning as others, okay? Some of us like to go at our own pace.
Maybe don't
One-
leave your day job and don't become a statistician.
Look, thanks to Nate Silver, statistics is sexy. So all the cool
Thanks to who?
nerds. Nate Silver,
Who?
the statistician,
Yeah, he's the guy,
political analyst
that misinterprets polls.
Of quite frequently, yes.
Oh, that one.
Who?
Yeah.
I don't know
No,
who this is.
he was a sports. He analyzed sports numbers and like was lauded as being very accurate with his modeling of like how to predict sports, and took that experience and started modeling political poll results, and became really famous for.
Being really bad at
Getting
he
the
became
election
famous
wrong.
for being really good.
Until the last one.
Yeah, and then eventually it turned out that, well, shit, the polls are just completely fucked. So they're not a good source of data.
or
Data. Is the singular datum or datum?
Datum.
Data.
Really?
Datum
That's a
chain.
stupid word. Get out.
What?
I do know that Data, the character, was originally supposed to be pronounced Data until Patrick Stewart walks in and says Data, and they're like, oh yeah, just keep that.
Yeah, we all talk like Patrick Stewart now.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
at least Sean
Money
Connery.
Penny.
Because Patrick Stewart doesn't know how to speak.
Oh.
We all say data.
Well, in his defense, French is a dead language.
That's true.
So, speaking of dead languages, Klingon.
Sorry. Throat.
We've all been sick this past week.
I liked this episode.
I liked it. I had very little notes on it because
I was bored.
it was just
Were you
kind of
bored?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious?
I liked Riker
The great
this episode.
scene in the fucking mess hall, and they're like, "Oh, you want some gach?"
I thought this was great. I love
This
Klingon.
is awesome.
I just
You're-
love Klingon episodes, honestly.
No, this was great.
I think Klingon episodes are the bomb. Now, you were gonna give me the real answer, but I want to play a little game where I try to guess.
I'm sure you're very close to
So-
right, but I have
so-
additional info.
One of the characters in this episode, what was it? Mendon,
Mistaken for Mordok.
who Wesley in the episodes mistakes for Mordok. his
Very
friend.
racistly.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you tell each other apart?
We just do.
Well, but here's the thing: the reason he couldn't tell them apart is because they're the same species, same guy, played by the same actor.
I mean,
John
clearly,
John
yes.
Putch.
John Putsch.
Putsch. That's a good word.
Yeah.
That means something.
Unless it's what Hitler did to rise to power.
Oh. Is that actually what it is?
The beer hall push was...
Oh, the Putsch. That's right. Yeah, of course. Okay. I was like, well, that's German for something great, isn't it?
That's not a great name.
Sorry,
Anyway.
buddy.
Very rarely is a German word a word for something great.
This guy was not a brown shirt. He was a blue catfish, but who liked to vape.
Before
all
it was
over
cool.
the bridge.
He vaped, yeah.
That's why Worf didn't like him.
Yeah.
Or centuries after, I guess.
But anyway, so I was trying to figure out why they put that whole thing in, and they're like, we all look the same because we're from the same area code.
GeoCities site.
Yeah.
I'll keep
and
making
I'm
that
like,
joke.
really?
I laughed the first time.
The reason you all look the same is because you had the fucking head that was fitted to this actor, and you were too cheap to make another head and fit it to a different actor. So now that species all looks the same.
Yes, it's because they spent so much money on that headpiece and that makeup technique. And when John Putsch gets called up and said, hey, do you want to be in another episode? He was like, oh man, you guys must really like my acting. And they're like, no, it's because you fit into the head.
Oh, poor guy.
Well, he said, fine, I'm not doing it then.
I mean, he did all right.
Fuck
He's a good...
He was the chief mansplainer on the
his
bridge.
character... But it was interesting. Oftentimes you'll have these one-off characters that pop in, and they're very one-dimensional. Well, I mean, he was one-dimensional, but they're very just, throwaway. But he actually had a personality, which I liked. And he was a dickhead.
And even in his personality, he was like, Wesley, what the fuck do you want? And Wesley's like, I don't have any friends.
Oh.
I mean, you look like you could use a friend. I'm actually doing you a favor.
So was he part of the officer exchange?
That's what they said, yeah.
So why was he an ensign?
Yeah, why are they sending fucking ensigns?
Well, my understanding was like he was on a benzite freighter, he was in the benzite version of Starfleet.
Or something.
And then the exchange, he went to the Enterprise to hang out in the Enterprise for a little while and learn Starfleet stuff. But why would he be a commissioned Starfleet officer if he was part of the benzite fleet?
It's an excellent question.
So I don't know, and it makes sense because he didn't know any of the rules. He didn't know the chain of command. He didn't know how.
That's one thing that did annoy me about this episode was like he was supposed to have been given instruction, and clearly he wasn't.
Yeah.
And yet they're getting all pissy at him because he doesn't know what to do. And it's like, well, get mad at whoever told him because no one told him shit.
Well, and then
Worf clearly isn't filling in the gaps.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then Worf acts like he's being a fucking hero by saying, I guess I'll fucking tell you how it works here.
Yeah, but is it Worf's job?
It was somebody's and they didn't do it.
It was probably fucking Riker's job.
No, it was Menden's
and they
job.
sent him away.
It was Menden's job because, obviously the parallel is Riker going to the Klingon ship. Riker did his fucking homework.
Yeah, but
He ate all that
he's not an ensign.
He didn't just research shit. He fucking ate the shit. He ate that garbage that the Klingons were eating.
Yeah,
True,
but
he did it wrong.
But didn't he also have the edge? Meaning, aren't Klingons part of the Federation at this point?
No, they're just allies.
They're
They're
allies?
they're not even. And
They're just
not
not
even.
actively killing each other.
I have a canon complaint.
Cannon!
Register. Cannon cops. Well, call the cannon cops. I got a cannon problem. Because the Klingons and the Federation are not allies. This is the second episode where they've said they're allies, and that is not true.
And they just said
They're just
like
at
a
peace.
peace.
They're just at peace. It's like us and Russia.
Not
right?
a great example right now.
But we're not at war with Russia. But we're not allies with Russia.
Well, but we did just kind of find out that they tampered pretty hard with our shit.
And
so
you don't think, and you don't.
Let's say us in China.
Okay, fine.
North
Us and
Vietnam.
China. United States and China. That's the Klingons and the Federation's relationship. They're not allies. They're not going to go to war together. If there's, an ally is a very specific thing. An ally means...
If somebody throws a rock at me, you need to come back.
Yeah, we're gonna
rally
rally our banners and we're gonna fight this war
all
together.
rocks.
So if
rocks
somebody
are already banned
if
in
somebody attacks a NATO country, we are allied with, we're a member of NATO, meaning we're allies with all the other members of NATO. So if somebody
now.
attacks a NATO country, we will go to war to defend that NATO country. But if somebody attacks China, we'll just be like, oh, sucks to be you. We'll send some aid, maybe.
Less
No, we
than
won't.
anybody else, probably.
Thoughts and prayers.
But anyway, so that was a little bone I had to pick
Fair
with
enough.
this episode. And
Well, I guess my question though, where my question was coming from was, the Federation presumably has, like, banks and banks and banks of info about, like, basically everybody. And I'm wondering if, like, you were just saying, like, Riker did his homework, but, like, maybe the Benzites don't have...
Maybe.
Well, Riker also didn't do his full homework. He didn't know you're supposed to eat Gah alive.
Well,
He just ate the food. He didn't do anything else.
It's not even that you're supposed to, it's just that it's best served.
I think he just wanted to go to a Klingon ship because he saw Worf's mating ritual with that woman.
Yeah. He wanted to see,
I want that.
He wanted to see if he could satisfy a woman even though he doesn't have enough organs.
So which of the two women on the Klingon ship did he sleep with?
Both.
That's why he wanted the captain to punch him at the end, so that it would cover up the bruise that was already there from his
Klingon three-way.
His one night of passion. But I don't know. I like this episode. I like Klingon episodes. I like learning about Klingon culture.
I know they specifically went and tried to cast a bunch of African American actors so that they'd have less making up to do.
Did they get one?
I think they got at least one. It was nominated for an Emmy in makeup because heads.
That's something that I always.
The poor makeup designer. Before you jumped on that, the poor makeup designer started regretting the let's make every Klingon forehead different idea that they had, because he's like, oh god, now I have to do all these fucking heads.
It's like a fingerprint, right? The Klingon head, except it changes between television seasons. But yeah, I don't know. I always wondered about that. That like Worf, obviously played by Michael Dorn, who's black, and Worf's brother, who we haven't met yet, but spoiler alert, played by a black actor. But most of the other Klingons that we see are white actors.
Yeah.
And the fact that the sons of Moog, Worf, and his brother are kind of treated like shit a lot of the times by other Klingons makes me wonder if there isn't some similar black-white racism going on in Klingon culture.
I have a feeling it's just because they wanted to do less making up on the actors you're going to see the most.
Yeah, maybe.
I thought you were going to bring up the fact that this technically means like most Klingons are in blackface, and that's weird.
Are they, though?
Well, I mean, insofar that they're using a skin tone that does exist on Earth.
I feel like that's a throwback to TOS Klingons, right? Like that's the thing.
Well, yeah, they went from
was the bronzer.
They went from bronzer to
I don't know, Kang in the fucking Pinwheel episode. That Kang and Kang's
Is that
wife.
the yellow face looking one?
That was the one where they were on the ship and they ended up having to be friends with each other to make the alien leave.
Day of the Dove.
Day of the Dove, that's right. And there was like Kang and his wife, and they were like that was like minstrel
you're right,
grade makeup on them.
Yeah. And it wiped off on the walls and
it was rough.
But yeah, no, that's something that's always kind of bothered me with Klingons. It's like, are they all technically in blackface, kind of?
Well, I mean, if they're playing aliens, does it count? I think that you kind of have this whole gray area.
I don't think so. I don't think it's not. It's blackface if your intention is to look like a black person.
Could I go to a convention and try to dress up as a Klingon, or would that be racist?
No.
If I just like Klingons.
Lots of white people dress up as
My
Klingons.
brother, this is a tangent, but you're going to enjoy it. My brother makes up this story that did not happen, and I have pictures to prove it. Well, my brother likes to make up this story that when I was in like 3rd grade, we were picking autobiographies to do a book report on, and I picked Frederick Douglass. And you were supposed to go to school and dress as your historical figure.
Oh dear.
And present a little report. My brother swears that I dressed up in blackface and went to school that day, or did it in the bathroom at school or something. I did not. I just dressed in rags and shit and did a report. But yeah, apparently my brother thought I was a racist in 3rd grade.
You often see like pictures online of little kids with like blackface, and you have to assume that the kid themselves is probably not racist.
Their parents are clearly raising them to be.
But yeah, if a parent allows their child or encourages their child to dress in blackface for any reason,
the parent is racist.
That is a problem. Anyway, but back to the episode.
I was having a thought while we were listening to Clag talk about his father and how his father was imprisoned by Romulans, was captured and imprisoned by Romulans,
like a little bitch,
escaped, and now he's living without honor until he gets old and sick and dies, and Clag will never speak with him again.
They should send him to Darwin's planet.
Hey, he can hang out with those children
and still die without honor.
But I was wondering, like in terms of getting your honor back, doesn't escaping the Romulans sound like something that you should be worthy of getting your honor back?
Stella got her honor
back. There's that, but there's we'll learn a lot more about this in the future, but a little preview
Okay.
is that really it's all about having an honorable death. It doesn't matter really what you do in the middle. It's about if you die doing honorable things.
Oh, so the problem is that he is old.
Is that if you like dying of old age, we never truly get a very good picture of the non-warrior caste of Klingons. But presumably,
Like, who's their nursery school teacher?
well, there's like we meet Worf's nanny eventually.
Oh.
Does she wear green and white striped stockings?
No. But
Well,
she
I
does
think-
float
is that a
in
Mary
with an
Poppins
umbrella.
thing?
No, it's a Muppet Babies reference.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you are a Klingon warrior, specific, like if that's your class, your caste,
Your job.
then you better well be dying in the field of battle, because anything short of that is dishonorable.
Couldn't he just like
Enlist.
have a midlife switch like in the Game of Life where you get a new jorb?
Well, I think once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, I think you switch casts that easily.
But and then and there's also
So like
precedent
maybe
for
he
like
can die rescuing puppies from a burning
but that's the thing,
orphanage.
right? Like there are Klingons.
You should just hang
who
out the orphanage
will,
at all times for
like,
this reason.
Go
Light it
as
on
old
fire.
men will, as like feeble old men will be like, I'm just gonna enlist in this war, just so I can be in the war and die. And as long as I'm dying in battle, it'll be.
I don't even
all
have to
good.
say. I can just be an inconvenience to everybody else and get everyone else killed, and then we all die in honor.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the baby
Yay!
boomers.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
So that's that's a thing. So I mean, and we'll learn a lot more about. We'll learn a ton about that during DS9, and we'll also learn some more in TNG as well.
That's like 10 years from now.
Yes.
I did like Riker's bromance with Clag or
Yeah.
Clang or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah, they were buddies.
Crisco.
They were good
They
buddies.
started out not friends, and then they became friends.
They
I liked
did.
that.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
They had more in common than they thought.
Mainly that they really wanted to bang those
Well,
broads.
really, what this shows us is that
And eat
a thing
worms.
that some people were upset about at Discovery, the Vulcan hello, is actually how you have to deal with Klingons. You punch them in the face
And
they'll
bang their
respect
women
you.
and eat some worms.
That's a good.
Which is what Riker learned in Conspiracy.
That's a good canon. That's a good
Yeah,
canon.
it was a
thing.
good canon reference in that show. And what was the captain's name?
Cargon?
Cardon.
Hard on. Captain Hard on.
Captain Cardon sure had a hard on for fighting Picard.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he was like aggressive, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I really like
It's
the
like, dude,
character.
you're at
'cause-
peace. What are you doing?
But like, I think
Pieces for suckers.
that's the thing. I
Must
think
die
the
with
idea
honor.
with Klingons is that they're so driven towards battle and.
I think it's because he was getting old and realizing, shit, if I don't die in battle soon,
Yeah, if we don't break this peace, there's not going to be a war for my old ass to enlist
so I
in
mean,
and
I
die.
think he's just looking for any excuse he can find to go to battle. And-
Plus, there's probably there's probably still some Klingon brownie points to be had for attacking the Enterprise, no matter which one it is.
Yeah, it's true.
Can't he just go and pick a battle with somebody else who's not in the Federation
Sure, but
rather than fuck up his shit with his...
Romulans are back.
Yeah,
you know.
go get the fucking Romulans.
Did you get the
Go
memo?
have fun with them.
It's true. It's true.
Those fucking assholes.
Yeah, because you really wouldn't be sporting to just start a war with like some shitball,
The Benzites.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about the Benzites then?
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, they're jerks.
Which
They
had occurred to
apparently
me.
have
Wesley
spaceships.
should have known right away it wasn't his old friend. Because his old friend had the ketchup and mustard tubes. This guy had a blue one.
That's true. Well, he could have gotten an upgrade, right?
Could have changed flavors
New
for the
flavor,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be ketchup and mustard. Now it's blue raspberry.
Well, it's to match his uniform.
I like
Yes.
how like they clearly just like put like a few rocks of like dry ice into the thing,
Yeah.
and he just had to. It's like
Occasionally
he had to keep leaning forward and like breathing into it so it would send up a puff of,
Yeah.
fog.
I do like the effect. The effect does look good.
Yeah.
And the makeup looks good.
I love the makeup. I think he's like a big weird kitty cat. I'm into
Yeah, this
it.
one got another nomination for an Emmy for makeup.
I would not.
Whenever
want to
you've got a
work-
Benzite, you get an Emmy for makeup.
I would not want to work for Worf. That's what I learned.
Yeah,
like he was such a hard ass.
Why did you put some poor little science nugget
But I mean, honestly, the guy did need to learn his place because
Yes, but like I was saying, no, because we never finished this, but they did say there was going to be a proper indoctrination period, and clearly it didn't happen with him.
or he just wasn't paying attention or something.
He was busy changing his flavor to blue.
Yeah.
That
No,
day.
he
He
beamed
was,
on.
he was
blue.
blowing fat clouds down intend forward.
I'm just saying. I want to cut the poor idiot some slack
Aw.
because someone on the Enterprise didn't do their job. Again, I forget who said it already.
I
'cause
did.
I'm
Riker. It was
leery.
probably Riker.
'Cause, yeah, normally that shit falls to Riker, so
They shipped him off.
Yeah,
so-
Worf was busy tucking Wesley in for the night.
Oh, no.
Oh god, that reminds me. The most important thing we learned about the Enterprise this episode: Riker's chair can turn all the way around.
Oh
Did, that was
yeah,
great.
that was.
Do
good.
we ever see that again?
I hope. I mean, it's.
I shit myself. I was shocked.
That is really
Well, you
like.
have been very sick, Chris.
I was going to say that was unrelated to the show. It was just because Chris shits himself sometimes.
Surely that feature was added to the ship late in the design when they're like, but what happens if you're sitting in the chair and someone behind you says something incredibly stupid? Like how do you appropriately address them and express your disappointment?
Can we have a pie for throwing next to everyone's seat at all times?
Yes.
I don't know why that's my reaction.
I would like to have that, but if we're going to have pies, we need to have yakety sax queued up at all times also.
It's true.
I do.
But yeah, so I like this one.
We're all
This was a
set.
good one.
I liked it.
I was a
Yeah,
fan.
I liked it a lot. I didn't really love the first one, but I liked this one.
I thought the first one was fine. I wasn't
Well, like
over the moon about it, but it was.
It dragged a bit.
I think we are trending in a good direction. With
Oh
Star
yeah,
Trek:
next
The
week's
Generation.
next week's gonna be good.
Yeah, at least
Sounds like
one
there's
really
lots of
classic
betas.
episode in there, I believe.
looking forward to
In
it.
fact, I believe I will jake this up, and
I was thinking I'm gonna go on this just because I was thinking about this past week and why I hate Jake us out so much. A, it's because it gives Chris pleasure and I hate that.
What is that laugh?
Whoa,
That was a laugh and
that's
a
a
half.
special laugh. And B, it's because I know he occasionally does it just to piss me off, which is it's not a big enough thing to piss me off. The thing that pisses me off the most is that someone is trying to piss me off, which is annoying.
I think it's just
People
what he
do-
says. I think it's just his catchphrase now. I don't think it's you.
I think
You know, I tried
I
to
think
stop
you're
doing it because I
projecting.
realized
Yeah,
it annoyed
I
you.
think this is.
But then he stopped actually taking us out
narcissistic
unless I said it.
personality over here.
No,
Oh,
well,
everything
I
that
realized-
someone does is to piss me
Well,
off.
no, someone did recently when I revealed in our Star Wars episode that I don't care for the Porgs. All of a sudden, everyone started sharing Porg things with me, and it's like, guys,
Who did that?
I'll tell you later.
Oh,
One of
wow.
them was Chris,
Oh, well, way to go, people.
and it's like you're just trying to piss me off, and it's not that whatever you're sharing with me isn't interesting or funny or sometimes a cute drawing or whatever. It's because I know you're just doing it to piss me off, which makes you a jerk.
Oh,
So there,
I'm
jerks.
sorry, Ames.
None of them listen to this podcast, but now they know. Now people know that they are jerks.
Venting corner.
What?
Venting corner.
Thank you.
All right.
One of the poor
Aggressive,
cartridges.
Well, on
Aggressive
that
corner.
very wonderful note, I think we should wrap this one up. Does anyone have any final thoughts on either of these episodes?
Nope.
I'm using a soda bottle to hold my head up.
Good.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with these episodes.
He's
You
also
clearly
shitting
had
himself.
too much blood wine.
Aw.
Anyway.
Heart
so,
of Targ. Someone ate a Targ.
well,
The Targs are cute.
Oh, that's what I was gonna
well, we
say.
eat hot
Cream
dogs.
of
Maybe it's just like
tartar
a
soup.
meat,
The first thing he ate was clearly just pickled ginger.
but nobody had seen that in '88.
That's true.
That was
It
not
wasn't
a thing.
trendy yet.
Just people in Los
People,
Angeles.
yeah, exactly.
Poor little Targ.
Okay, I am going to take us out. So you, of course, have been listening to A Star to Steer Her By.
Woo! Episode 72, if I didn't
episode
say.
You didn't.
72.
No, I have.
Yay.
Oh, wow, that is so close to 73. And in episode 73, we will be talking about two new episodes, well, new to us
From
episodes
1979.
of the Star Trek The Next Generation. The Measure of a Man, and I'll tell you, ladies, it's not with a ruler, it's with a yardstick.
No, it's Data's dick is what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
And then
Yikes.
we'll also be discussing the Dauphin.
Dauphin, I believe.
Dauphin, whatever.
Dolphin.
It's French,
Dolphins.
French for prince
Prince. Well, excuse me if I go too fast.
or something like a prince. Prince level role.
Yeah, Dolphin or Dolphin or...
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Whatever. Oh, that attracted the attention of a cat.
fucking wheel.
The
Did
baby fucking wheel, Jay!
Okay.
Baby fucking
The one that hates
dolphin.
men.
Oh
Don't
no,
move.
black cat.
Don't
Oh,
move.
shit.
It's
All
like
right.
a T-Rex.
Anyway, let's carry on
Also,
this
it
thing.
smells your fear.
So as I said, this has been A Star to Steer Her By.
Woo!
You can catch us online at Facebook as A Star to Steer Her By. Just search for it. You'll find us. You can also find us on Twitter and Tumblr at SSHB Podcast. We're also on SoundCloud. You can search for A Star to Steer Her By. And you can find us on iTunes and Google Play. And if you're on iTunes, give us a rating and a review. My name is Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
And this is always Caitlin.
That was a
Rock on!
That was a great end credit, Jake. You did it.
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling. Toss salad and scrambled egg. Stick it up your anus.
Uranus, Uranus.
Stick it up your anus,
blow it out your ass.
Oh, that was really good.
I like
That was
that
really
one.
good.
That's a good way to finish that.
Wow.